Human-killing ants. In Australia, there exists a potentially deadly ant species that is commonly known as jackjumper ant. This ant kills more people every year in Australia than snakes, spiders, wasps, and sharks do combined. These ants can be found below rocks, and they sting their victims as opposed to biting them. Before we go on, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Subscribe so that you don't miss out on anything. Now it's time to see. You would be surprised at how often ants kill people. Everyone has heard horror stories about exceedingly disgusting, deadly or seemingly fictitious instances of insects killing people. However, aside from dubious rumors and numerous cheesy movies, very few people have experienced or know someone who has development.innovative pest control and experienced severe medical problems as a result of an insect attack. If you had to name certain insects that have been purported as being deadly to humans, you would likely mention mosquitoes, bees, wasps, or a variety of other venomous, but rarely deadly, flying insect species. While all of the above-named insects have claimed numerous human lives over the course of history, there is one insect that you would never expect to be deadly, and that would be ants. Given the abundance of ants in the environment, and the frequency with which people unwittingly step on them during leisurely outdoor strolls, you would think that ants would be among the most innocuous of insect groups. However, several different ant species have been known to kill people, and they were not all fire ants. In fact, deadly ant species have killed people living in regions all over the world, including America, Australia, Africa, South America, Europe, and elsewhere. In Australia, there exists a potentially deadly ant species that is commonly known as jackjumper ant. This ant kills more people every year in Australia than snakes, spiders, wasps, and sharks do combined. These ants can be found below rocks, and they sting their victims as opposed to biting them. The African safari ant species forms columns that contain a whopping 50 million individual ants. During times of drought, these ants can march through villages, killing everything in sight. When they encounter a dwelling, they also venture inside in order to eat all the tasty food, cats, dogs, and humans that they can find. These ravenous ants can strip an animal of its flesh rapidly. Surprisingly, authorities in Africa use these ants to rid fields and homes of pests. Any animal pest that remains in a home when these ants come marching through, will surely be brutally killed if they fail to escape in time. Luckily, these ants are slow-moving enough for humans to successfully avoid. Have you ever sustained painful bites from an ant? If so, do you know what species of ant bit you? Jackjumpers, Myrmecia pilosula, are small, black, and orange ants with extremely keen eyesight and an unusual ability to jump. This tiny creature is considered one of the most dangerous ants in the world, and, indeed, one of the most dangerous animal in Australia. In Tasmania, the death toll from the jackjumper's sting is about 1 person every 4 years, greater than the toll inflicted by sharks or by the most poisonous of snakes or spiders. They are named after the jumping jack firecracker because of their tendency to jump aggressively towards potential threats to themselves or their nests, and to follow up with multiple painful, fiery stings. The ant's fierce-looking, toothed jaws are ideal for holding insect prey in place while using the stinger at the end of its abdomen to jab its victim. Jackjumpers are so very dangerous because the venom in their stings is one of the most powerful in the insect world. About 3% of Tasmanians, some 14,000 people, are at risk of anaphylactic shock if stung. While jackjumpers are common in the bush, their preference for disturbed, sparsely vegetated and stony ground allows them to colonize roadsides, pathways, and heavily grazed paddocks. For the same reasons, they can also be common in recently established suburbs. Nests are typically found under logs and rocks and can often be spotted from the mounds of gravel that mark the entrance holes. Not one single ant species, but a complex of 7 superficially very similar species, jackjumpers hold a key position in native ecosystems. Despite their notoriety, their nest building improves soil structure, while their predatory and competitive behavior with other insects and invertebrates helps to selectively enhance plant growth. They are also a food source for other animals. The most important predator of jackjumpers is the echidna, which, unfortunately for people, avoids disturbed ground and suburban areas.